Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is about an experience I had on DMT, my very first experience. That happened to me around about 8 months ago, sometime around there. This is just such an awesome experience. Probably the most profound and complete ego death I've ever had. And yeah, I mean, I'll just get straight into what happened. Just heads up, this will be like my favorite trip reports where guys like to go into a bit of detail about what they experience, so I'll try not to get too bogged down, but yeah, I'll be like that. Basically, yeah, as I said, this was about 8 months ago, and I've been looking for DMT for ages. Like, I've been tripping on acid, on mushrooms, on a fair amount of psychedelics, and combining them and meditating to get as deep as I could, and I was going to some pretty cool wacky places, but not quite as far as I wanted to go, and I knew DMT could take me there, so I was really putting the word out to people. If you know someone who's selling DMT, I'm definitely buying. And eventually my friend just got like a fair amount of DMT. He did a bit, and it was a bit too much for him, so he said I could have the rest. So I was like, fuck yeah. And he wanted me to do the DMT, as soon as he gave it to me, he was like, I have the DMT now, but some part of me was just kind of a bit hesitant. Some part of me was just like, nah, I want to film this first time, and I did film it, but I lost the footage, which sucks because I would have loved to show you guys, but oh well. So yeah, I was just waiting, and as it turns out, like, I was waiting for this right moment, and I'll talk about it a little bit later how it's just scary how perfect the moment was. So anyway, I had Aiden come over to my house eventually, and he brought his DMT. It's about like half a dime bag worth. It's probably like 150 milligrams, and we just scooped it all out and put it into this pipe that he let me. I knew kind of what to expect, and I'd had deep trips before, but I wasn't really thinking about, I'm about to do fucking DMT, and I wasn't getting too nervous or anything. I was actually really excited. So I just kind of sat down on the couch, and he lit it for me, and I just inhaled as deeply as I could, held it in, and people say DMT is really like gross or really hard to inhale. I didn't find that at all. I thought it was like actually pretty tasty. But anyway, held it in, and nothing was happening at first, so I exhaled and took a second one immediately. And I just remember, as I'm inhaling, Aiden's face, while he's lighting the second one for me, all of a sudden these lines just start striking across his face, and it turns into a totem pole. Like, that's the only way I can describe it. Like, his face just like kind of felt like it was this impression on space-time, whatever the fuck that means. Like like it was just very strange. It looked kind of the same, but it was so much more epic and intense, the presence of his face. So I was kind of like taken back by this. I was like, whoa. I looked to my left while I'm holding in my second one. I start seeing like transparent spirals shooting through the air. So I just kind of exhale the second one a little bit faster than I did the first one. As soon as I do, and I'm playing Spongel Divine Moments of Truth at the same time on my surround sound, it's just sounding fucking awesome. So I exhale my second breath really fast, and then I feel like this fucking most insane body feeling comes over me, where it feels like I am a star collapsing in on itself. Yes, like it was shocking. Like, it really felt like I was imploding and crushing into myself. And at first my mind's going like, holy fuck, oh shit, I've taken DMT, like, I'm not ready for this. This is insane. And luckily this thought came into my mind, and it was like, it's cool, stay calm, you knew it was going to be like this. Just listen. Just kind of try and shut that out and listen to what's being told to you. And at this point I couldn't hear anything. I was like, what's being told to me? So I closed my eyes, and as soon as I do, like, even though I had like this ultra uncomfortable feeling of my body being crushed and imploded and just thrown all over the place is happening, as soon as I close my eyes, what I've been calling machine elves, these entities, come up to me. These entities basically look like The only way I could describe it is like metal smoke or metallic smoke. Like, they would have really sharp edges, and they'd be still and solid for a moment, like this metal form, and then they'd just shift. The whole body would just change around and move like smoke, like gas in the air, and then take a totally new form. Fucking incredible. So yeah, these entities, I don't know, I haven't done DMT enough to know if these are machine elves, so you know, I have to do a little bit more research into it or something, I guess, but I think they are. And they started basically saying some things which I can't really repeat on camera, otherwise I'll sound like a crazy man, but it just was so profound, and I think so factual, like it just made a lot more sense than really anything else ever has before. So they started telling me these things, these ultra deep secrets, and as they're telling me these things, I feel my shift of awareness, a shift of awareness happening, where I'm losing my sense of myself big time, and they're taking me to a deeper and deeper and deeper place just by talking to me. I can't really remember what happened then, but basically at some point I think I went through a tunnel, because I remember coming out of the tunnel. I don't really remember going into it, so I can't describe it to you. But this is where the most fucking insane part of the trip happened. This is the ego death moment. This was just phenomenal. I'd had ego deaths before this, where it's like you lose your sense of self, where you forget who you are, where you have just really profound places in different realms and dimensions of this human experience. That probably sounds weird if you haven't tripped, but unfortunately that's the only way you could describe it. But they were not an ego death like this was. Basically, I became white light forever and ever. I've had moments of feeling like I'm out of time and existing forever and ever, but not like this. Like on acid and during meditation, I've had moments of infinity, and you come out of it, you're like, whoa, and I was gone forever. But this was like, as Kanye West sings, like, we are an ultralight beam, and like, fucking hell, did I get that from this. Like, it seemed like I zoomed out on everything, from all the galaxies, from just, if you kept zooming out and out and out and out, or going in and in and in, eventually you get to the source, which is white light. And on later trips, I'm not sure if I'll include this in the video because I don't want to get too bogged down, but in later trips, I've had experiences on psychedelics and even on weed, where they've told me what this white light is. My last trip, which I'll probably do a trip report on, they told me that this white light is this beam that's shot through inside the matrix. I was on weed meditating, and all of a sudden it just showed me this fucking matrix the first time. And yeah, it showed me that this white light was basically consciousness, or a signal being shot through the matrix, connecting me and all other lives of the past, present and future, parallel lives that are non-physical, all sorts of crazy fucking insane shit were connected by this white light. And that's apparently what I saw and became on DMT. And it's where we all go when we die. It's very similar. If you listen to like a near-death experience, it's very similar to how they describe it. They just go into a white light. So yeah, that's what happened. I was gone for hundreds and billions and trillions of years, and I could feel how long I was gone for. People say, you know, DMT is the longest 15 minutes of your life. Jesus fucking Christ, no shit. Like, I've really had to, like, I've thought a lot about doing DMT again, because it's like, whew, gone for a long fucking time. But at least because this was an ego death, it wasn't really, like, I've had nightmarish trips where you're gone for a long time and you're aware you're gone for a long time and you're scared you're never going to come back. It was not like that. This was beautiful. It was profound. I was connected to everything. I was everything. And yeah, then I started coming out of it finally. And as I came out, now it's important to note, about a year ago, I did 3 tabs of acid for my first time. And back then I had never done a high dose of anything. And when I did, I didn't freak out in my mind. I loved the experience, but I ended up running through the streets naked, screaming, "I am the chosen one. Come to me and I'll help you." Like, just fucking crazy shit. So while I was on my triple drop experience and running through the streets naked, with Aiden, mind you, it was the first time I'd tripped with another person. I remember being told in my mind that when I went back inside in the house, I was going to enter a white light, which was going to disintegrate my very being and create me and just basically kill me and have given me a near-death experience. And it was going to be the most intense experience I'd had, and one of the most intense experiences available to man. And I was nervous. I was like, holy fuck, like, I don't want to go back inside. I'm happy to. I asked the voice then, I was like, can I bring Aiden with me? He said, yes, once you can bring Aiden, you can go inside, sit on the couch, and once you've done that, you'll enter the white light. But instead, police were called, ambulance was called, I was knocked out, I woke up naked in a hospital bed thinking, what the fuck just happened? I've gone crazy for the last hour. And how delusional I was, because these things that I truly believed were going to happen never happened. And then I smoked DMT with Aiden on the couch, entered a white light, exactly as was described by the triple drop. Sure, my memory could have been tainted by the DMT experience. I don't believe so. And this is where it goes crazy. This is awesome. As I'm coming out, all of a sudden, I'm not sitting on the couch anymore. I'm running through the streets naked. And I'm like, oh, fuck, no. You know, I've done it again. I cannot be trusted with psychedelics. Every time I do them, I end up just stripping naked and running, going crazy. But I'm looking around and I realize, wait a minute, this is the night I triple dropped. This is exactly the moment I triple dropped. I'm in a memory right now. This is not happening to me. You know, it was more vivid than any dream. It was as vivid as right now in real life. It was just incredible that on my triple drop, I predicted the DMT experience, and during my DMT experience, I was plopped back into my triple drop experience. So as soon as I remember that this is a memory, my whole environment just begins to crumble, break apart, and transform before my eyes. Like, people's faces just break apart. And the roads just break, and everything's shifting like a scene from Inception, and it starts transforming and becoming something new. My own body as well, breaks apart and starts reshifting, so that all of a sudden I'm sitting in a car next to Aiden, and we're in drive-through at McDonald's, which I was in when the triple drop began to happen. And that was a cool event. And so anyway, I'm just sitting there, and Aiden's staring at me, smiling. The person on the speaker's silent. Everything's just silent for a minute, which I think actually did happen during my triple drop. Some crazy things were happening then. And so after a minute, everything again started to break away. Aiden's face breaks apart and everything transforms. And I'm sitting back on my couch then. After that, I just start speaking gibberish. It feels like I'm still being watched by all of the entities that I come to contact with inside my mind. It feels like they're all watching me, and that they're all inside my neighbors, and that they're telepathically communicating to me still, even now I've come out of the experience. And so I start talking to them in gibberish, apologizing for going crazy on my acid drop. And they start asking me things like, you know, what do you want? You can have anything in the world. And I start asking for things, and then basically I just came to and started talking normally to Aiden, who was, poor bugger, was just freaked out on the couch. I also remember something else. As I was coming out, I remember the machine was saying to me, he's been lying, talking about Aiden. And I said, Aiden, you haven't done DMT, have you? You've been lying this whole time. And he's like, no, I have. But he also told me he'd had a breakthrough. And then the entity's saying, he's done DMT, but he hasn't had a breakthrough before. And funnily enough, I questioned Aiden later, and sure enough, he hasn't had a breakthrough on DMT before. So, it was a fucking groovy experience. And funnily enough, I actually didn't think I'd had a breakthrough. I didn't think that was the breakthrough experience. I'd heard a lot about DMT and none of it sounded like my experience. Like I never heard about white light or any shit like that. But then I went onto my computer, I looked at these there was like 4 or 5 levels of the DMT. Well, there's 4 official levels. And it's like, you know, 1, 2 aren't really important. 3 is like go through a tunnel. 4 is you enter a different space-time. You go through different spatial dimensions and you encounter entities. And then it said number 5 is like very few reporters report this, but there are encounters where there are experiences where you encounter white light. Or become white light or something like that. And so when I read that, I was like, that makes sense. I'm guessing that's what I went through. So yeah, ever since that experience, I've been a bit nervous to do DMT again, but fuck, I don't know. I probably will pretty soon, just when I'm feeling as excited as I was when I first did it, because it was that excitement that really kept my mind together in the beginning, and I loved to trip back then, so the more intense it got, the happier I was really getting. But yeah, now I don't know, I'm not really tripping so much anymore, but we'll see. I wouldn't mind having another breakthrough experience just to see how different it is, because I didn't have anything like what most people report. But yeah, anyway guys, that's my first DMT experience. If you enjoyed this report, please subscribe. I'm going to be doing lots more trip reports. I've had shitloads of crazy experiences on psychedelics, that triple drop being one, that weed meditation being another, if I included that in the video. I'd love to talk about that because I was not expecting that from weed. Also just experiences with combining acid mushrooms, just combining a whole bunch of psychedelics. So yeah, I'll be doing lots of trip reports on that and just whatever to do with psychedelics. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, and hopefully I'll see you guys again.